to explain this thing that I've noticed when I share this with people who haven't heard of this before. It's like a light bulb goes off that just everything makes sense. I call this phenomenon the Hall of Mirrors. So in the dream of separation, a lie was told, right? The lie is the inconceivable and impossible idea that there could be any separation. A lie was told there's the possibility of separation, which is not possible. It's an impossibility in the one life, in the oneness of all that is, and this caused fractured consciousness. Now, I always use the analogy as follows to describe this. Imagine this within yourself and see if you can perceive how this is played out in your reality. When I was a little girl, my granny had a long wall of mirrored wardrobes. You ever seen that kind of thing where there's like a whole wall and it's all mirrors? And I used to sit on the floor between some of the mirrored wardrobes and I'd open and close the doors. So I'd sit here and I'd have like two doors backing onto each other. And I used to play this game where I'd sit on the floor and I'd watch like this endless stream of mirrors of my own face unfolding. And I was so fascinated by this. And I perceived like, wow, that's so interesting. Look, if I do it like this, my face is all warped. If I do it like this, there's 50 more of me. If I do it like this, there's millions of me. And look, if I do it like this, my head stretches. And if I do it like this, everything looks really weird, you know? Can you feel this concept of the Hall of Mirrors? Basically what it's referring to is where consciousness has fractured into little pieces as a result of the fundamental lie that separation could exist when it's impossible. You get like little shards that are reflecting opposite pictures. When you look in a mirror, like if you look in your bathroom mirror, you don't see yourself as you really look. You see yourself backwards. Would you agree? Or if you hold like a paper up to a mirror, the words are backwards. In the dream of separation, we lived in the Hall of Mirrors, like I said, is what I like to call it. And what happened as a result of living in the Hall of Mirrors is that everything we looked at was distorted, which meant that everything we were seeing around us when we didn't realize we were in the dream of separation was in essence, at its very core, its nature, a distortion. Everything we saw was a distortion. What's happened is that we believed the distortions that came from living in the Hall of Mirrors. We believed it to be real. We thought it was a real thing. We didn't realize it was backwards. And that's what has caused the painfulness of the perception of the dream of separation. Experiencing life through inverted lens. Exactly, Christina. Can you see, I really want to hear in the comments if this concept lands for you. Can you see that the reason there is a pain is not because of experiences, it's because of our perception of experiences that came from the looking in a backwards mirror and getting a distorted image. In other words, nothing is as it seems. We just believed the distortion. Does this make sense as a concept? Yes, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Love that, Christina. Love that. Okay, so awesome, 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 awesome. As we're leaving the dream of separation, what we're actually doing is we're dismantling the legacy of the lie. So yes, distortion is getting easier to see now, exactly. A really easy way to contextualize this is anywhere there is a separation, you're looking at a lie. Lie means the dream of separation because it cannot exist, it's impossible. So you can easily know if I'm perceiving separation, I'm looking at the lie. Therefore, all I have to do is disavow that that is true, and I come back to the original truth. And we'll talk about that more in a bit because I know it's sometimes easier said than done. So dismantling the legacy of the lie. consider this within your own life now. Just scan through your own life. Just expand your awareness and scan through your own life experiences, your ancestral experiences, meaning the experiences of your family, many generations back, and so on, beyond your experience right now. The experience generationally within the location that you live, and so on and so forth. Just scanning through all of this right now. And seeing all of the pain, all of the wounding, all of the trauma, all of the everything, right? This is what we can call the legacy of the lie. So fundamentally, what we're doing here as we leave the dream of separation as proxy for all of life is we're collapsing the whole of mirrors. Imagine it almost like a string of dominoes that when you knock the first one down, it just goes, and then that's it. You're collapsing the whole of mirrors. It is inconceivable to me now to realize how I ever believed in the distortions as reality. I've had to forgive myself, understanding it was not my fault. Exactly, beautiful sister. Every one of us have been in the dream of duality. That's just how it's been, yeah? And we can totally flip this on its head as well, because the very fact of that you've literally awakened to realize that, that's what we came here for in the first place. The service of that is monumental. It is absolutely profound. And so to leave the dream of separation, there's a caveat. There's one thing that we have to be willing to do. We have to be, and this is why this journey is not for everybody. That's why we don't have thousands of people like coming to learn this, because not everybody's ready for this information. We said at the start, this is really advanced metaphysics. We have to be willing to disavow the lie. We have to be willing to look at this and see, oh my God, this is not real. So for example, in my situation, like I said, I'm sitting in my granny's house right now. They can hear me in the other room. I know they can hear me. My entire experience of the profound family trauma that I experienced that shattered me into millions of pieces, to come to the level of embodiment that I have with this now, I've had to look at that straight in the eye and see, oh my God, this is not real. This is a lie. This is not the truth of existence. The truth of existence is indivisible oneness. I've had to collapse that whole of mirrors to come to the place of being sitting here, expressing all of this, and it does not exist. It's as if it never happened. This is the power of what we can do for our families, for our locations, for the entire earth, for the entire cosmos, when we truly embody this understanding. Can you feel the depth of that? Can you feel the magnitude of that? And we're barely scratching the surface. Imagine if there were all of us here in this room alone mastered this, right? There's not that many of us on this call right now. Imagine if just all of us mastered this, where we're standing right now. And then imagine if we had 144 light workers mastering this. Imagine if we had 1,440 light workers mastering this. Imagine if we had all 144,000 of us living this, right? And it doesn't even need that many. But what I'm getting at with this is to highlight, look at how much life on Earth has changed. And there's not even that many of us really like touching this truly. Imagine if we got even just some more truly mastering this. And that's exactly why I'm sharing this information. As a child, I knew something was wrong. Exactly. How does this feel, my loves, before we go on? And how do you feel about coming to a new place within yourself today of disavowing the dream of separation? And I want to just say also, if you're listening to this and you're in a place where your psyche's not ready to let go of the stories yet, that's okay. Totally okay. In your own time, you will be ready to let go of needing to have the story as a reference point. And when that time comes, oh my God, wait till you see what comes for you.